Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Spam28 here bringing you some more World of Warships action. This is going to be a live action commentary primarily focused on the issue of tactical awareness in-game. I'm going to be using the USS Sims in this example, but this is not the Sims review. So without further ado, let's get right down to it. One more time as we talk about it. We do have more ships than the enemy team, which right off the bat means that they have higher tier ships than us. And looking across, you can see all of the Negatos versus our Fusos. And they also have a Ranger and a Saipan versus just our Saipan. So they dominate us both in high tier firepower and in air cover. They also have an Atlanta, which is really, really good at killing destroyers, including American destroyers. Any destroyer can't really stand up to the Atlanta. So that's something I have to worry about. And then they also have a Sims of their own, a Hatsuharu, and then 2 tier 5 Nicholas, which is another American destroyer that can give even a Sims trouble. The guns are pretty equal. On our side, we've got 2 Omahas to their 1. We have a Cleveland to their Atlanta, which is nice. We have a couple of extra battleships to try to make up for the fact that they have 3 tier 7 battleships and an extra aircraft carrier. That's a higher tier than ours. So looking at the big board, I've kind of waited a little bit here, but we'll see if we can't get into A. It's not too bad. Even in domination games, and I've said before that you want to try to get in the cap. Destroyers are fast enough that you can get in, even if you wait a little bit to really take stock of your ships versus the enemy ships and kind of imagine the matchups in your mind before the game even progresses. And as I see planes here on the big board, it reminds me to turn my AA fire off for maximum stealth. And it's also good to kind of wait to see how your team is deploying. Now, for instance, we have a large contingent of battleships screened by cruisers going towards this direction. We also have a destroyer over here that's capping C who's so far away he's not even showing up for me. It looks like most of their planes are coming through here. Looking at the enemy deployment, we had a couple of destroyers that are popping up over here along with a battleship. So those destroyers will probably be racing around this direction. So maybe we can scoot into A, hopefully fast, and maybe make a U-turn and cap it while trying to stay out of detectability range. Unfortunately, those planes are close enough. They might be spotting me, especially those torpedo bombers that are flying right over me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my AA back on, just because they were going to spot me anyway. Might as well try to do as much damage as you can. Now that I'm getting out of range, I'm going to go ahead and turn my AA back off. Autopilot mode try to regain the stealth advantage. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. I mean, if the planes are going to spot you out anyway,
taking the lead.
You might as well turn your AA on, just to, you know, throw what damage you can. Looks like we've got battleships closing in. I wonder if I can get around. We've got so many planes in this area that I'm actually going to go this direction. I'm going to set the smoke screen over here, in between these islands here, just so it might give those battleships a little bit of pause when coming back in this direction. Again, these planes are so close, they're spotting me out even in the smoke screen, so I'm going to turn my AA back on for a little bit. And then as they get back out of range, I'll turn the AA back off. Okay, so we have captured A. I'm going to complete this U-turn, and now that those planes have dropped their payload and are heading back to the carrier, this area back where I kind of was should be a little bit safer to be steaming through. And we've got a destroyer off the starboard bow, so we'll see if we can't. This is one of the Nicholas, so he's pretty dangerous. So we'll see if we can't get some AP shells into him. We've got a cruiser backing us up. Those, oh, we're just a bit short. But as we're closing the distance here, we should be getting some good hits. Mountain got in the way. I'm still fairly safe in this direction, even though, well, no, we don't want to. We want to stop there. So what those torpedoes go by. Even though I'm like run aground, so my maneuverability is definitely lessened. The fact that this island is in between me and anything that could possibly want to harm me at this point in the game means that this position is not as compromising as you might originally think. Normally, a destroyer's main method of staying safe in a match is its speed, is its maneuverability, coupled with its stealth. So you would think that, you know, having your bow up against an island, limiting your maneuverability like that, would just be a horrible, horrible, detrimental thing. And it can be, but not in a position where you have hard cover for most of the enemy. And now the enemy carrier drivers are really smart. They're actually bringing their fighters over in this direction to try to spot me out as their battleships come around this corner, which is a really smart thing to do. If you're a carrier driver, take stock of that. That's something that you want to be doing. You want to be using your fighter planes when they're not engaged with other fighters. There's that Atlanta's right there. That Atlanta's really kind of a gate between me and getting back to their carrier. That Ranger looks real tasty, but maybe with this Cleveland kind of shading off to my left here, it can help me out. Let's see where those shells land. He's starting to cut in towards me. We'll see if we can't knock this destroyer out. Well, we've got all 3 caps, so even though we've lost one more ship than they have, it's still pretty okay. It's because we have all 3 caps. Now this Atlanta's starting to open up. He's opening up on the Cleveland. Again, these planes are going to spot me out, so I might as well open up with my AA while they're above me. And I'm, again, putting this island in between me and the main threat, which is that Atlanta at this point in time. He's definitely shading back to try to save that carrier, which is a smart move on him. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my AA back off as we're getting out of the range of those planes. And I've got my smoke screen back up, so I'm going to try to use that to my advantage, but this is still going to be a really hard thing to do, to come in on Atlanta, but no big deal. Again, keeping this island in between me and him. As we come around, this destroyer is going to be my new priority target, as the Cleveland has engaged that Atlanta. So hopefully he'll be giving him some trouble, and they'll be leaving me alone. If I can get past these 2 ships, that Ranger is nom nom time for me. Like I said, that Atlanta's busy shooting at the Cleveland. And we've got this guy, which hopefully I can take out with that salvo right there. Beautiful. And now I'm going to go ahead and try to get around this Atlanta. Watch him, watch him, watch him. Is he swinging his guns around to me? Yes, he is. So I'm going to go ahead and pop my smoke and start maneuvering wildly to try to dodge all of his shells. I'm going to initially come into him, go under those shells, and then he saw me swinging that way, and I'm going to get back behind this island and play in my smoke. I do want to deal with this guy now that he's focusing on me. It looks like he was actually able to take out the Cleveland, which is why he was able to turn his guns around to me so incredibly fast. Now, I'm hidden in the smoke, obviously, as he's not training his guns to where I am, so he can't see me, which is a wonderful thing. But at the same time, I can't go back for that aircraft carrier anymore either. But we've got some more friendly shells coming in on that Atlanta. So if he gets taken out, or if he switches his focus back away from me again, I can try to make a break for that aircraft carrier, which is what I really want to do. So again, positioning myself behind this island to keep hard cover between me and the Atlanta. And now he's pretty much far enough away that I think I can actually make a break for that aircraft carrier. He's still shooting where he thinks I was. But even with the bad surface detectability range of American destroyers, he's far enough away that I can safely stay out of range, and I can use this smoke that I previously laid down as cover to stay even more hidden from that Atlanta. Now, given his last position, actually, it looks like he just got taken out. So, hey, there we go. All right, so now we can make a run on the enemy aircraft carrier, which was just right behind that island, and probably still is, given that he's not being spotted from the right, and given where I saw those planes last come from. They still have their 2 aircraft carriers. They've still got 2 Nagatos as well, and a Sims, which could be a problem. But if you look at the deployment of their forces, they're all kind of more towards the A point, and we hold B and C. They could steam across, the F line to get into B pretty easily, but by the time they do that, given that they are in battleships, I should be able to take out the aircraft carriers. So I've started the Ranger over there. He was the one that was originally behind the island, so I'm going to go ahead and shade that way. He's going to spot me out with these aircraft, probably. And we'll see if we can't locate that Saipan as well. Watching where those planes are flying back to, it looks like the Saipan is... Okay, so yeah, he's definitely seen me with these planes. So I'm just going to go ahead and start opening up on these planes as well. These planes all look to be empty as they're returning. So we shouldn't have to worry too much about, you know, dodging bombs or torpedoes. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to HE, given that these planes are returning. As I said, we don't have to worry about anything, as clearly they actually weren't empty. Cut speed and dodge it. There we go. All right. So given that they're going to be empty now, I definitely want to switch over to the HE to try to light this guy on fire as much as possible. I should be able to get around this torpedo, no problem at all. Not even gonna worry about it. Okay, we've got both carriers back here. As this Mutsuki is gonna go for the closer one, I'm actually gonna switch my heading towards the farther one and be able to get all 4 of my guns with the HE loaded on this guy. Again, I just want to try to catch him on fire right now so we don't have to worry about any more aircraft. At least for the immediate time being. But as we're getting this close, I'll probably actually just switch to the AP and see if we can't get some Citadel hits. As you can see, we get Citadels with the HE. So the AP will give us even more Citadel hits. If we can hit right under those smokestacks, that's where the Citadel lives. Go back a little bit. And we're under fire from... enemy ships behind us from those 2 battleships. At this sort of range, obviously not going to worry too much about them, but I do pop the smoke just to give myself some cover from behind me. They do have planes coming in from the front from this battleship, so, or from this carrier rather, not battleship. So we do have to worry about him. I still have my repair, obviously fully available, so these dive bombers aren't going to do too much to me. I'm going to get really close to this guy. I definitely don't want to miss any torpedoes because the reload is so long.
Our victory is in sight.
At the same time, this should be a pretty easy shot. Now that I'm under fire from him, as he's turning. I might actually torpedo my own friendly destroyer there, because he got way too close to these guys as well. They are taking B, like I was worried about. However, we should have these carriers down, which will give us a substantial amount of points. And given that we already have the points lead, I'm not too worried about them even taking B on us. I'm gonna aim a little bit lower here, see if we can't start getting some
enemy team
hits.
is taking the lead.
This guy should be going down to those torpedoes. He's doing a really good job at dodging torpedoes. Oh hey, we have a new customer. This guy's finally come back to help his carrier buddies out. I should dodge all of these. I should dodge all of these. We should be able to get...
Critical engine. Problem solved, sir.
Enemy aircraft carrier destroyed.
second, you can see the advantage that getting those points from destroying the aircraft carriers give us. So even though we are 2 capped at this point, it doesn't really matter. This guy is playing in his smoke rather effectively, so I can't get super effective shots on him until I get a little bit closer to him. At the same time, I'm under extreme amounts of torpedo danger here. We gotta have to turn and avoid those, and now we win before we have a chance to get torpedoed to death, as it was getting a little bit chippy back here. But you can kind of see, I think, just the tactical flexibility and kind of the forward thinking that you have to have during a match. Kind of when we were playing around with vision and hardcover early when we were capping the A point, and then also when we were playing kind of behind the island and playing with ranges and vision when the Atlanta was really guarding those aircraft carriers as we were trying to get through that choke point. And then once we were able to break free, unfortunately, we missed a lot of our torpedo spreads, given the maneuverability of those carriers and just how short range these torpedoes are on the American destroyers. But at the same time, we were able to affect the match to a great degree. If we look at the team score here, you can see that our friendly carrier actually did real well. He not only shot down 12 planes, but he also was able to sink a ship with his own bombers. We ended up second on the team with 2 ships sunk. So that's fantastic. If you look at the enemy team, you can see that one of their Nagatos did really well, and one of their aircraft carriers did really well. And then in Omaha had a good game as well, but everything else was sub 1,000. And on our team too, we only had 4 ships that were above 1,000. So overall, kind of an interesting game. I think a lot of ships went out early, so not a lot of opportunity from a lot of the players to get a lot of damage done. Looking at our damage, we were able to get 65 AP hits for 32,000 damage. We were able to get 12 HE hits for another almost 4,000 damage, and then only one of our 16 torpedoes that we launched hit for another 6,000 damage. So not too shabby there, but I think the primary focus of this match is really kind of the, like I said before, the forward thinking and kind of the tactical knowledge, and I guess the map knowledge and the game flow knowledge that you have to, be effective and exploit those holes and gaps that you see developing in the enemy team. Really, again, at the beginning of your matches, take the time to really study the team lists, and again, like I said, envision the matchups in your mind, how those are going to go, and look at where you think you're going to need to be. So for me, my primary objectives going into this game was A, to capture a point early, because I'm a destroyer in a domination match. So I need to capture points early. So I did. I went, zoomed into A, and actually captured it uncontested early, after playing around with our AA and, being spotted out early by the planes, but making use of hardcover, so it wasn't too big of a deal. And then B, looking at the team matchups at the beginning of the game, I saw that we were completely dominated in the air. They had, not only did they have an extra aircraft carrier, but that extra aircraft carrier was a tier higher than our only aircraft carrier. So I knew that harrying the aircraft carriers was going to be a big deal in this match. So you saw me look for the opportunity to break through the enemy's lines and get to those aircraft carriers. That's the first thing I was looking to do right after I early capped that point. And I was successfully able to do it. The Atlanta was the only thing that they really had as kind of a blocking force to shut down that hole. And I waited for him to be distracted, and I also, played with hardcover and played with vision and vision ranges and my smoke to distract him and stay safe as well. And eventually my team was able to take him out. I think, my team took him out as he was still shooting at where he thought I was in my smoke screen. So he wasn't even paying attention to what was shooting at him in the latter stages of his life. So even though I didn't damage him or kill him, I felt like I contributed to his demise in a pretty good way. And then once he was gone, I was able to zoom right through that hole. And you saw the other destroyer on our team too. Recognized the same opportunity and took advantage, zoomed through that hole, and we harried the aircraft carriers, and we probably got the aircraft carriers to focus on trying to kill us with you know, 2 or 3 waves of their bomber aircraft, which really freed the rest of our remaining team up to not have to worry about that. And given that the rest of the remaining team was mostly battleships, the dive bombers and torpedo bombers were a big threat to them, that they didn't have to worry about it anymore because we were harassing the aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers, once you get a destroyer that close to them, they really stop trying to impact the rest of the game with their aircraft, and they're focused solely on self-preservation, which not only makes them super ineffective at keeping themselves alive just because destroyers dodge their aircraft ordnance so well, but it makes them super ineffective at really contributing to the rest of the map as well. So it's a kind of a double whammy there. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this match, and again, just illustrating in a live commentary the importance of kind of thinking through your actions and the technical and tactical knowledge and kind of game sense that you need to be developing to consistently have positive impacts on gameplay. To not have these 91 experience or 284 base experience games. To get yourself to a level where you're constantly having 1,000+ base experience games. Which just, you know, not only does it make the game more enjoyable because you're making impactful decisions and you're doing well, but it makes the grind more enjoyable as well. Now, this is a premium ship, so there is, you know, nothing obviously that I'm grinding towards. But if I was in like a regular destroyer, you unlock modules and you unlock the next ship so much faster when you can count on getting at least 1,000 XP a game, rather than having these games where you get, you know, 91 or 200 or 300 experience, and it just takes forever. So work on developing that game sense, work on developing that tactical knowledge and that tactical flexibility. Learn how to read the map, learn how to read deployments of both your team and the enemy team, and you should see market improvement in your results. And this game, World of Warships, is honestly a game that rewards focusing on leveling up kind of that aspect of your gameplay a lot more than other games. This game is so slow-paced that it really does reward that, you know, smart tactical choices over kind of like the twitch reaction, pure mechanical skill that something like even a World of Tanks or like a League of Legends or a Call of Duty would really, you know, focus more on just the raw mechanical playmaking ability. And then you kind of, once you've mastered that, then you start to work on like the tactical ability. This game, just given its slow nature and given the vast distances of the maps and just the nature of naval warfare, it really rewards the tactical knowledge first, and then mechanical capability really does take a back seat. So those are just a couple of topics that I wanted to talk about during this live commentary. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Oh, just, you know, let me know, continue the discussion in the comments too. I don't say that often enough. I love to hear from you guys. I love to interact with you guys. So, you know, let me know what you think about, you know, the kind of tactical knowledge versus mechanical skill debate as it pertains to this title and any other titles that you've played. You know, just let me know your thoughts and opinions, and I will talk to you next time.